Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever Freedom365 podcast. I'm with my great friend, Austin Hilton. Man, we've been talking about doing this for a long time, Austin. Finally, we got off our ass and actually made this thing happen, man. So what's up? What's going on?
You went there. We got up off our ass. Yes. So this goes to show you a real simple thing, right, Zach, that even successful, you and I are successful in our own right and the YouTube stuff and all that, we still, sometimes it's hard to get stuff moving. It's hard to get off the damn couch sometimes, right?
No doubt, man. No doubt. And we've been talking about this for a long time, but it's just, something so new. We kind of got in the groove with YouTube, and it's hard to get out of that, that day to day, right? For those of you guys who don't know, both Austin and I, we're both crypto YouTubers, talk about cryptocurrency every single day on our respective channels. And, this is going to be a little bit different, the Freedom365 podcast. We're going to kind of cast a wide net. We want to talk about entrepreneurship. We want to talk about successful business people. And we're going to sit down with a lot of these business people too and just kind of pick their brain. And I mean, there's going to be a lot of fun episodes. I mean, hopefully some live episodes as well. In fact, I know there will be because we travel quite a bit too. And so, maybe out in Vegas, we'll be drinking whiskey with a successful entrepreneur that, started a new tequila line or something like that.
You never know. Maybe somebody owns a NASCAR team. Maybe you never know. Right. So I do want to do one little housekeeping thing here, Zach, so here's what we're doing for you guys. So if you're listening to this podcast for the first time, Zach and I are going to tell you all about ourselves in a minute, our vision for what this podcast is going to do. But we also, for every single podcast we record, we've created a video as well. So we have a YouTube channel. Links will be in the description / show notes if you want to go check out and watch the video. And if you're catching this, if you're actually watching the video on YouTube, then by the way, we have podcasts, the podcast portion as well. So you can catch it on either platform. And we're going to launch the podcast on pretty much everything, right, Zach? Spotify, Apple, all that, stuff, right?
Yeah, wherever you get your podcast, you'll be able to listen to it. We know a lot of people are in the car traveling. I know myself. I mean, that's what I do. I listen to podcasts when I'm traveling. Most of the time I'm listening. So yeah, anywhere where you get it, the Spotifys of the world, Apple Music, we'll have you there. But yeah, if you want to get the video portion right here on YouTube, you'll have that as well. We've also got a Twitter page too. Check that out. It's at Your Freedom365 on Twitter. We'll have a website coming too, where we'll have a bunch of other things there for you as well. House there, that'll be up and running soon as well. So I'm glad you went there with the housekeeping stuff. But
so Zach, I want to throw you under the bus here a little bit and I want you to completely. You're like, what the hell is he going to say? Yeah, what is your Freedom 365? What is it about? What are we doing here, man? What's our objective? Yeah. What's the goal here? So I'm going to let you take that and run.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, for me, man, I love talking about this kind of stuff. I'm super passionate about, creating your own future and really, controlling your own destiny. And I think that's what everybody wants. And to me, man, I think in today's age, there's no better time to do it. I mean, with the internet, there's so many different ways to make money, which we're going to get into a lot on this podcast. I mean, Austin, you've got a ton of experience. You've been doing the damn thing for decades.
Well, we used to have to, communicate with like smoke signals. That's how long I've been doing this stuff, right? For those of you guys who can't see me, you're on the podcast. I've got a ton of gray hair. I'm the old guy in the room. So yeah, I've been doing this for a while. And one thing I want to say, you and I were talking about the ideas. We're going to talk a lot about our failures. We're going to talk a lot about, right, Zach, we both have had failures. But we've never been afraid to try. And I think that's going to be one of the key narratives and the key messages that we'll get into. So back to you though.
No doubt, man. I mean, failure is part of the process. You almost have to, and you learn so much from those too. But just doing this podcast, I think is going to be fun because, for me, I'm a new entrepreneur. I'm a new business owner, getting away from the 9 to 5. It's been about a year and a half now. Funny story too. Austin and I go back about 2 years and he's like, dude, you're going to quit your job, like really, really soon. Right. And I was like, yeah, I'll probably wait it out this whole year. This was back in 2021. And I said, I'll probably quit in January and what have you. And he was right. I quit well before it. Thanks to YouTube, thanks to all the support there, I was able to quit it earlier than I expected. And it's been amazing, man. I mean, I work more now than ever, Austin, but I love it. It's on my own time. It's when I want to do it. If I want to sleep in a little bit, I can.
Yep.
And I work a little later here or there, but it's so different when you enjoy what you do and you don't have somebody telling you what to do
Yeah.
and where to be and what to wear and what you can say and what you can't say. That freedom, if you will, is incredible, right? And that's what this is all about. Freedom 365. It's freedom all the time. Doing what you want to do when you want to do it. And that's what you get when it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Don't get this wrong, right? Like there's shitty days. There
Yep.
are tough days. There's still, you got to go through the ringer for sure. But at the end of the day, I enjoy this a lot more, man. And you get to build something. You get to be creative. You're allowed to try things. That's what I love about it, man. But I know you've been around the block for a while, man. I mean, you've been an entrepreneur for what, 25 years or something?
Started in 2000, and I'll give y'all my story here in a little bit, but I do want to say something to your point. I think here's what I would say again to those of you guys who are either following us off of our existing, YouTube, Twitter followings, our crypto content, or whatever it is. The real vision for this podcast came down to a very, very simple concept, which is why it's named Freedom 365. So, because the word freedom means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And we're not talking about, in this context, patriotic freedom. We're talking about freedom from the standpoint of financial freedom. But it is, Zach, to me, so much more bigger than that. To me, freedom is a real simple concept, is that I want the freedom to do as I want when I want. I want my days. I want the freedom with my day, with my time. Really, that's really what it is. I want the freedom to do with my time as I choose.
Yeah.
And to do that, obviously, you have to make money one way or the other to either provide for yourself or your family or whatever your current situation is. Which, right, Zach, is why we named it Freedom 365, because there are thousands of different paths to achieve that freedom, to achieve the financial freedom, to allow you to have the freedom to control your time. Would you agree with that, or you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I'll just add this. Austin likes to take naps at 2 o'clock in the
I
afternoon.
do. There you
Right?
go.
So, and you can't do that if you work for somebody. So, damn it, you got to be an entrepreneur.
I have to take a nap at 2. I have to get up and I have to eat by 4, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that I can, be in bed by 6. And so
100%.
he gives me shit. Everybody gives me crap all the time, guys, because I'm 53. Let's say what it is, but I do take naps. I like my naps. So yeah.
Well, I'll give myself a shot before you take the shot. I'm wearing a hat because I'm bald, everybody. All right. So there's that. All right. So let's just move, keep it moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think you're right, dude. I mean, if you want to go get Chipotle at 3:30, you don't have to ask your boss to leave the office. I mean, it's just simple things like that allows people to have that freedom to do and go.
So,
yeah.
But so Zach, let's bring it back. So that's why we created this, right?
Yeah.
So now let's bring it back to to them, the person who's either A, listening to the podcast, or B, watching this on YouTube. Is that here's what and this is my vision, and I want you to, shoot holes in this or add to it or say, Austin, you're smoking crack or whatever. But we know it, where we know how we're defining freedom, right? It's freedom to do to have a revenue stream that allows you to have the freedom to control your day. There it is. Okay.
Exactly.
But I think our vision for this, for what we want to do for you, the listener, and how however you're consuming this content, is we want to help you with that journey. And here's how we're going to do that. We're going to tell you our failures, right? We're going to be real straightforward with you. We're going to tell you some keys to our success. These are going to be different episodes, by the way, very, like episode 2 and episode 3. We'll get into that in a minute, but we're going to interview guests and talk to, and like, how are they doing it? What are they doing it? We're going to be bringing you, different models or businesses that you may want to think about. Like, maybe if you want to do an affiliate business, like you want to, you don't want to create your own product to sell or whatever. Cause like Zach, you created your own products company. I believe it was what was it? A hot sauce brand, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We had a hot sauce brand, which we can get into in later episodes.
We'll do that later. Yeah, we'll do that later. But so my point, right, Zach, is that we want to help you by bringing you these different, again, our failures, our successes, our years of trying these things, and ultimately also open your eyes to other ways to accomplish what? achieve your own freedom, either financial or time wise. That's our objective, guys. That's our objective, what this is going to be. So back to you, brother.
Yeah, and in saying all that, part of the big story is taking risks, but taking calculated risks. And I know we'll have probably a full episode on that too, like how to minimize some of that risk, how to get started with $100 or a few $100 and or less or free. I mean, there are businesses out there like that. And I mean, one thing I want to add too, we're going to bring a lot of guests on here as well. And not only are you going to be able to learn from their stories, but I know Austin and I, we love learning too. I mean,
absolutely.
That's the thing about being a successful entrepreneur. You have to be a lifelong learner. You got to be willing to kind of, okay, that's interesting. Huh? How did they do that? Wow. Okay. Well, maybe I can implement something like that in my business. So, we're going to bring a ton of different people on and hopefully shed some light on a ton of different avenues that you could take in order to achieve whatever financial freedom looks like for you, because it's not going to be the same. It's not a cover letter, right? It's just not. It's not a blanket. Here it is, right? Everybody wants and sees financial freedom in a different way, and I think by bringing a lot of different people on, it's going to be awesome just to have great conversation. But I think you'll be able to learn from not only us throughout this journey, but a lot of other people that we're going to bring on. And we've built up a really cool network, and I can't wait to sit down and hopefully do a lot of these live too, Austin, as much as we can, right? Because there's nothing like good live conversation, have a drink and just kind of talk shop with people who've had, a ton of success.
Yeah, I agree. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to get my liver in top working order for some of those conversations. So I think from there, man, I mean, what else do we want to cover as far as kind of our inaugural, podcast episode? I mean, we've covered.
Do you want to talk about what we're going to do for episode 2 and 3?
Yeah, so I've got it written down here. So guys, so episode 2 is going to be one that I've already mentioned. It's specifically going to be how you can learn from our failures. And so, I'll give you a couple of mine up front. I mean, I've been doing this for 22 years. I've built and sold a really big .com, and we'll get into that, maybe in episode 2, I'll tell you what that .com was. But also beyond that, I had some rough times after I sold that. I kind of, lost my identity. My identity was wrapped up in this guy. I was a guy who owned this big .com. And when I sold it, there was this period of kind of trying to figure out who I wanted to be. And, I had failures. I had I made some mistakes, in different businesses I was trying to go in at the time. And then, cause you can't do this for 22 plus years and not make mistakes. Also, I will tell you from my side of it, is I came up with a very good way of identifying how of the types of businesses I would want to do. And it was actually very contradictory. It was one of the key ways, Zach, and I think I've said this to you, one of the key ways that I decide if I want to do something is I decide what I don't want to do. And then I go, all right, well, I don't want to do that. So I'll go over here. Right. And I think that's kind of, a lot of people don't think of it that way. It's very contradictory. So episode 2 is going to be learning from our failures. I know you want to add something to that. So go ahead, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, it was just like, a few small businesses. Obviously I don't have the 20, 25 years in, but I've had some failures. I've taken some risks and fell flat on my face. And I'll get into some of those too in episode 2 in detail. And, but I think one thing we will definitely say, Austin, is, man, you learn so much more from failing. When everything's great, I mean, we're coming from the crypto side, right? So like last year we had a big bull market, right? Everybody's a genius. Everybody's winning. You don't learn a lot though, right? I mean, because it's like you could throw a dart and just everything's going your way. But man, what happens when a bear market hits? You learn a lot more. You really understand kind of how to have success. That's just a crypto analogy, right?
You just made me think of something. I think a lot of people, when they're looking out there and they're looking at people that are successful, right? They only see that success in that moment in time. Like they may look at that person over there and go, wow, they live in that big house and they drive that car, or whatever, the trappings of success, which to me are not what defines success. I think what defines success is freedom to control your day. Again, we've talked about
Freedom
that.
365.
Freedom 365. There you go. Catch it available on anybody. All right. But I think that, but people don't understand that 9 times out of 10 that there was failures that went before that success. And 100%. And to me, one of the biggest keys to being successful in business and in life is being willing to try, be willing to, and by the way, reinvent yourself. I have literally reinvented myself. I've lost count 7, 8, 9, 10 times.
Yep.
You, Zach, have reinvented yourself. You were a small hot sauce business owner. You were were a professor. You were a broadcaster. You've done, look at how many, if you really think about it, dude, look at how many times you've reinvented yourself. And I think that's one of the biggest keys, right? And so, but I wanted to get that narrative out there, that I think people think that when they see that person, they just see that success right there. And they're like, oh, wow, they just instantly became successful. No, that's not how it works.
Right.
And,
right.
and I will say one thing, and then I'll turn it back to you. What people don't, here's an example. People look at you and I, and, my channel is 200,000 subscribers. Your YouTube crypto channel is almost 100,000. Congrats, by the way. 100,000 subscribers. People look at that and they go, wow, Zach he's successful. He's killing it. He's got 100,000 subscribers. What they don't see is what every day you get up and you do the work. And that's the key. But you said it earlier, dude, and this will be the last thing you said earlier, is it's not really work if you love what you do. Oh, by the way, there's still going to be bad days.
100%. Yeah, 100%. But I mean, it's so much easier to get up every day when you're doing something you love. It's so much easier. I mean, because I've lived the other side of that. I mean, just, there were a lot of things, I was a professor for a little bit. There were a lot of things I enjoyed. I enjoyed the interaction and getting the feedback from students and seeing people have success and, helping somebody get an internship and getting a letter back a year later, like they just got this awesome job. All that stuff was rewarding, but there was a lot of bullshit that I didn't like. And every day that bullshit, it didn't make me want to go there. Right. I mean, every day was a grind, even more of a grind than I'm working now. I mean, it's crazy how that kind of weighs on you. Right. And I spend more time working now, I mean, than I ever did, but I love it. I mean, it doesn't feel, I don't have the stress. I don't like, there were days where I'm getting out of bed, like, I don't want to go here. I never feel like that now.
Yeah. When you were going to your jobs, what you're saying, right?
100%. Yeah. And Austin, I mean, you remember there was a time, that I was doing both. I mean, so there's hard days. I mean, in that there were days where I was getting up at 5:30 every morning, recording 3-4 videos, going to the job and coming home and recording 3 more videos and maybe getting a gym session in. And like, it was like clockwork. I mean, had no life, straight up. I mean, I didn't, I lived in Indianapolis for about 5 months there when I was slowly transitioning to full-time entrepreneur. Didn't really meet anybody there, but I was cool with it. I mean, and I basically said, hey, I'm going to dedicate these, really, it was like 8 or 9 months to, not have as much fun as I want to have, but I know it's going to be worth it. Right. And I've got years and years and years to enjoy it down the line. So we'll get into some of that too. And, in further episodes, but, yeah, man, this has been awesome already, man. I feel like we can keep going.
Well, we could talk about this forever. So I think, let's land the proverbial plane. So, because we're coming up on, about 17, 18 minutes. So I think, so again, so you guys have gotten a vision of what we're trying to do, what we want to accomplish. Our goal is simply to help you in one way or the other. And it may be one golden nugget of thing. And oh my God, I haven't thought about that business, or holy cow, I didn't realize that, you got to fail a little bit, or that again, right. I think there's this, I really can't get off this narrative. I think there's this myth and there's this narrative out there that owning your own job, it means that you don't have to work. And I really want to say that that's not true. Right. But I think, Zach, to your point, is that if you find something you like doing, and if you're doing it for you and and it's your thing, and then it's not as bad, it's not as hard. But oh, by the way, not every day is going to be perfect. Because what I'm saying, right? There's just there's people out there that are talking about, like, oh, if I just had my own business, everything would be perfect. And I want to, our goal with this is to shoot straight. Bottom line, is 2 guys who live it every day. That's not the truth. But the 100%. Truth is, right? The truth is that I think you really said it better than I could ever say it, is that if you are doing what you love, then it's better.
100%. And you're right. There are so many misconceptions and myths out there. Like, the other one, and we'll wrap this up in a minute. The other one you hear a lot is like, man, that guy just got lucky over there. He's just so lucky, and there's always luck associated with success, right? I'm not saying that. I mean, there's timing, there's luck, but I'm under the idea that a lot of times people create their own luck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's through those trials and tribulations and failing and working at it and getting back up off the canvas and continuing on every single day. And then, you know what? Eventually, you're going to strike some luck, right? Because you're at it. You're at it every day and you're trying. So we're going to give you a ton of different ideas to kind of consider in this podcast. I can't wait to get into it, have some great guests on here, man. This is a nice change of pace for us too, because we get away from the crypto world a little bit, which right now it's pretty brutal over there. But we definitely will still have that going too. And this is going to be cool because there's going to be a lot of crossover. People are going to be coming in from the crypto side, but we're also going to have people coming in from just, business and investing. And maybe we can, show them a little bit about crypto too in some episodes as well down the line. So.
Yeah. And if you're catching us again on just the audio side, on the podcast side, rather, there'll be links in the description / show notes if you want to go check out both of our crypto YouTube channels. Honestly, is proof that, hey, we actually are living and we're eating our own dog food. That's a term. My grandfather used to say that all the time. And I'm like, it's just what?
We are who we thought they were.
Yeah, they really are. All right, brother. So I guess take us home, man. So yeah, let's so episode 2 is going to be about what? Learning from our failures. And I'll let you land the plane.
Yeah, guys, thank you all so much for tuning into this first meeting, first conversation, just kind of, opening the conversation up a little bit. In episode number 2, we're going to get into our personal failures, how failures turn into big success in the future, and how, just keeping on, and eventually, you'll get there. We're going to get into all of that in episode 2. Episode 3, we're going to talk about the secrets to success as well. So that's coming down the line as well. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe right here to this YouTube channel. Hit that Twitter as well. It's at your Freedom365. And be on the lookout. Twitter is a place where we'll tweet out a lot of our news and information, new episodes, little teasers and things like that. And then, of course, full episodes right here on YouTube. And then if you want to listen to those as well, we'll have all of those ready for you on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. So, Austin, thanks so much, man. And thanks everybody out there for listening. We'll see you in the next one. See ya.